Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kim Schmidt, Executive Editor of Farm Equipment Magazine. Welcome to our latest digital demo in conjunction with HeavyWorth. Today's presenters are Glenda Wagoner, Business Development Specialist, and Melissa Reiki, Sales Executive. They're going to walk us through the features and benefits of the HeavyWorth platform and how it can help you streamline the equipment evaluation process. Before they get started with the presentation, just a couple housekeeping items. On your screen, there's a control panel with the Q&A icon. You can submit questions here at any time during the presentation. There will be a few spots during the presentation that we're going to stop for questions. And then, of course, at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A as well. And then also, we are recording today's session in the event you want to go back and watch it again or share it with anyone else on your team. Okay, we are ready to get started. Thanks again for joining us, and you can take it away, Glenda.
Okay, thanks, Kim. I just wanted to let everybody know that Melissa actually had a family situation and she won't be able to attend, but you will be seeing her at events and possibly hearing from her through emails and phone calls. So look forward to her reaching out to you. Before I get started, I just kind of wanted to give you some information on HeavyWorth. About 4 years ago, HeavyWorth developed a mobile application to facilitate capturing photos and data on equipment. This made it very convenient for dealers and financial institutions, employee-owned businesses, estate planning, and other businesses to capture maybe one piece of equipment or a fleet of equipment. And in addition, the HeavyWorth application, the website application actually streamlines the valuation process through the automatic upload of the photos and data that was captured with the mobile app, and an internal valuator can value the equipment by looking on the website. If there isn't an internal valuator within the company using this software, then it makes it convenient for them to forward that information on to HeavyWorth for us to do the evaluation for them. I wanted to let you have a few minutes to read this quote that we just got from Rick Pearson. He is the CFO of an employee-owned construction organization, Absolute Group. We're going to get started, and there's a couple of different things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be using slides to go through our presentation today, as well as videos. We will also be pausing throughout the presentation at different points so that you can ask questions. With that being said, Kim went over exactly how you'll have to submit the questions by entering the information. So we'll give you time to do that when we're pausing. We'll start off first by doing the capturing of equipment, and then we'll move on to assigning the values. And finally, looking at searching for the information and exporting the information. At the end, we'll go over the benefits to the dealers. And as I talked about, questions, we'll have a question and answer at the end of the presentation, but we'll also stop during several times during the presentation. So with that, we're going to go on and we're going to start with our first video.
The capture process begins by first creating a new catalog and entering the owner's name and the location of the equipment. We're then presented with a straightforward checklist showing the photos we should take and the information we should record. We'll start with the profile photo, which is the main image we'll see when this item appears in the catalog, as well as the largest featured image on any reports. We can proceed through the checklist in whatever order is most convenient, with a green check appearing beside each completed item. This flexibility allows us to enter information and take pictures in a single pass around the asset, rather than going back and forth hunting for whichever task is next. We can also categorize the photos we're taking from within the camera, saving us from having to go back and forth from the camera to the checklist. We can optionally enter special features, problems, or general notes about the asset, as well as review all the photos we've taken before tapping Done and returning to the catalog. Once all items have been completed, the catalog status is changed from Capture in Progress to Valuation Requested, which will immediately alert the evaluator that the package is ready to be evaluated. The capture process
So during that capture process, we're gathering all of that data in one place. So you'll be capturing the photos, the serial number, the meter readings, and it's all going to be located within that one asset. Makes it convenient if you have a number of different assets that are the same make, model, and year, for instance, maybe skid loaders, that you'll be able to make sure that the condition of that skid loader is associated with the correct serial number, making sure all the pictures and the value is assigned correctly. All of the data that is being captured is actually being stored in the cloud. It's easily accessible. And the one nice thing is that you don't have to put any technology on a server to use this. So why your sales representative is, or an employee is out capturing the equipment, they're going to be getting all of that information so that they can capture the condition of the equipment, the meter readings, which plays into the evaluation process, talked about the serial number, and requesting the valuation. They're changing that status from capture in progress to request evaluation. That's actually what generates an email to the internal evaluator to start the valuation process. I wanted to pause here to see if there is any questions about that part of the process. So I'll give you a minute to possibly send Kim a question that we can answer before we move on. All righty, Kim, thank you. Yep, we'll keep going. Since we've captured the equipment, now we're going to go in and look at how the valuation process works.
Back at the office, the evaluator is notified by email that the catalog is ready to review. Clicking the link in the email takes us straight to HeavyWorth and to the catalog in question. From here, we review the photos and are able to upload documents or add links to serve as comps for future reference. We can also add notes to justify or characterize our valuations. Once we're done, we assign the values necessary and change the status to finalized. This status change notifies the catalog owner, in this case, the salesperson in the field, that the valuation is complete. The salesperson receives an email with a link to the catalog, which will open in the app for him or her to review. Back at the office, the evaluator.
Apologize for that. So after that equipment has been captured and the salesperson actually changes the status from capture to request valuation, it automatically notifies the evaluator at the office. That evaluator can be customized to who you want it to go to, that notification to go to. Once that person receives it, there will be a link there that it automatically can take you to the equipment so that you can review all of the data, look at all of the photos, and assign a value. You can attach documents like maybe there is a large repair that really has an impact on the value. You can attach that document as well as the links that you might be looking at for comparable values. One of the things that it makes it really simple, in the past, there was a lot of times when maybe somebody had to write a note and get it to you in paper format so that you had additional details on that piece of equipment. Possibly that picture can actually get lost. So this keeps it all in one place. And then when you're actually changing the status from valuation requested to finalized, that is automatically going to notify the salesperson that the evaluation has been completed. Now they will get an email, and when they get that email, they will be able to see the values that you have assigned. So they don't necessarily need to go to the link to see all of it, but if they want to, If they want to go to that catalog, they can review all that information. But if they're right there with the customer, they can just give them the value at that time. So our software is very customizable, and some of the stuff that we customize is what values you want to see. A lot of our dealers actually have the book or the trade-in value, a cash value, a retail value, and a reconditioning value. Those are all set up during the setup process with each dealer. The other thing that we set up that is customizable is who receives the notification. One of our dealers has one central valuation person, or another one might have valuators at each location. So they'll assign the employees at the location, and any employee completing a catalog will automatically go to that evaluator rather than to a central valuator. All very customizable. I'm going to pause again to see if there are any questions that anybody has.
Glenda, there was one that came in. It says, are all valuations established manually by an analyst?
Yes, they are all. We believe strongly that the photos really contribute to the valuation, and without looking at those, you can't really get an accurate value on it. We are doing some integration in the future that will give you an automated means that you can start with, but we recommend you always look at all of the information before putting a value on it.
We had another question come in. Does the system integrate with dealer business systems?
We are working on integrating with some dealer business systems, like HubSpot is one that we're integrating with right now that we're almost to the point of rolling out. We're actually looking at Iron Solutions for Iron Guide to integrate with them. And we will work on integration for the customers that we have that request it, and see which ones are requested most frequently so that we can prioritize the integration process.
Okay, and then we got another one. Does it pull similar machine values in?
It does not pull those in. You can actually, when you're in the system, if you have valued something within the system, you can pull up by an asset a value of something that you valued in the past so that you can keep your values consistent. So it can retrieve any values that you've assigned to your equipment at your dealership.
That's all for now.
All righty. So we will go on now that we've actually done the capture and the valuation process. We're going to look at how you can view some of the data and also how to get the information out of the system.
In addition to HeavyWorth's immediate transactional uses, it also has searching, reporting, and exporting functionality. We can search for specific catalogs using owner information, and we can search across catalogs for specific items, with the results allowing us to go directly to the catalog for each item. HeavyWorth generates reports as PDFs that can optionally include the photos, making it easy to print hard copies of single assets or entire catalogs. Catalogs can be exported as spreadsheets, and photos for assets can be copied directly to Dropbox or downloaded for marketing or external inventory purposes. In addition to HeavyWorth,
So as you saw there in that video, it's really easy to search for a catalog by owner's name if you put it in that way. When an employee maybe is out unexpectedly and the customer calls in, wants to know what the status of the valuation is, it's easy to go up and pull it up for anybody that has access to the system and find the data and review the information and give them that. information. You may have noticed that there can be valuation notes when you're doing the evaluation process, and they can relay that information to them as well. In addition, it provides you with a list of all of the valuations that have been completed or all those that are actually waiting to be valued. These two examples are printouts of the PDF that was shown in the video. The first one has all of the values in it, and it provides the serial number, the meter readings, and valuation notes as well. You'll notice the top value and then the other values are at the bottom. That's one with all the photos on it, and it is for the entire catalog. So it just keeps repeating. If you have multiple assets within a catalog, it'll just keep adding to that catalog with all of the photos. The one behind is basically a PDF that has just that profile picture, that first profile picture, with all of the similar data and the values with it. Those can be done by asset as well as for all of the catalog. And you can export it into a spreadsheet. So the other thing that was mentioned is you can actually take an asset and download a zip file for those photos. So you can mail it to a potential customer that doesn't want to come in to the dealership to maybe look at the piece because it's too far or they don't have the time to do it. You can mail that zip file of the photos for that specific asset, and they can click on it and zoom in on the equipment before they come in to the dealership to purchase. You can also perform that by exporting the Dropbox as well. So this is another comment from Joel, who is the general manager at Forest Pro, the dealership there that does a lot of forestry equipment. Joel was one of the people that actually uses the zip file of the photos so that he can send it out to his potential customer to come in, and that they don't have to have time, make time out of their busy schedule to come in at the dealership just to look at it. So do we have additional questions now?
Construction equipment such as skid steers and mini excavators?
Yes. It can be used. So we have construction companies that are using it. We have ag dealers that are using it, and we have forest equipment. It can be used on any type of equipment. Any additional questions?
Nothing that's come in yet.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the benefits to the dealers. One of the things that's really nice is that you can capture all of the photos on your mobile phone. It's not you're not having it captured on cameras or trying to find an iPad. One of the things that I know that's very hard to capture with an iPad or a camera is sometimes those serial plates can be located in very remote locations, and it's hard to get them. And the mobile phone makes it a lot easier. So you're capturing all those photos, and it's captured with all of the correct data. The photos aren't being stored one place and the information on the equipment being stored somewhere else, and it possibly getting into the wrong serial number. The other really nice advantage is that our mobile phone will work even if there is no cell coverage. So you can take the pictures. Once you get into cell coverage range, then it automatically uploads those photos to the website, and everything is viewable by everybody else. We know that there are a lot of places where the equipment is very remote and you're not going to have cell reception. So it makes it nice. So the data and all the photos are stored securely in the cloud, and it isn't stored indefinitely. So you can go back to this for however many years you want to go back. One of the things that I recently read in an article was that there have been a lot of thefts, an increase in thefts, I should say, on heavy equipment. And the article had indicated that it's really important for you to have your serial numbers attached for that equipment. Now, you may not get a lot of equipment theft at your dealership, but it may give you an opportunity if you sold a piece of equipment to be able to have that serial number on hand for that customer when they call back and say, hey, do you remember that serial number of that piece of equipment you sold me? You can quickly get to it through our system. Notifications are sent automatically. This is probably one of the things that I enjoy the most, because sometimes when I complete my work as an evaluator, or if I'm the one doing the photo capturing, forgetting to notify somebody. And then I'm always going back and looking at my emails. Did I send him an email? Did I send him a text? And then there's nothing there, and I have to start where I could have probably delayed it. This makes it all quick and easy. You don't have to transfer the information. It knows who the email notification is supposed to go to, and it automatically does it for you. So when you change that status, you don't have to worry about sending something or finding the means at which the person was communicating with you. It's easy to search for catalogs or specific asset types. So when you're trying to do, when we were talking before about the assets and values, you can search by that little radio button asset and put in the the model of whatever you're trying to find of the skid steer, and it'll bring up all those that you valued so that you can keep it consistent with the valuations that you have already done within your organization. Easy to use and train staff. That's probably one of the things that we get the most. I just recently talked to a reader employee. He had been on staff for maybe a month and a half. I asked him how he liked the system and if it was easy to use. He said somebody showed him and walked him through it one time, and that's all it took. Very easy to use, and they really enjoyed it, felt it was really efficient for them. Here's another comment from Doug. Doug actually, working for Absolute Group, did all of the capture for over 1,000+ assets using this mobile app. He's the one that actually said the phone probably works the best. Even the iPad, he had a hard time capturing the serial numbers sometimes using the iPad. So what does it eliminate for you? Right now you may be getting a lot of communication through multiple channels, like somebody's sending it in through a text, or somebody's got the photos on their hard drives and they have to go back to the office and upload them, and even an email, or maybe it's on a card in the camera that they're just giving to you. That causes a lot of confusion, especially for the evaluator knowing where it's going to be stored, or for somebody needing to get to those photos if somebody happens to be out sick. So this makes it easy. It's all in one channel, and it's communicating back in one channel. It eliminates the need for your salesperson to drive back to the office to upload that information so that the evaluation process can continue. They can actually start driving and go on to their next customer, which makes them more efficient. Priorities. Sometimes when you're getting valuation requests through multiple channels, you can't figure out which one came in and which one you should be working on first. That makes it very difficult. This is going to make it notify you when it comes in. You're going to be able to see which values came in when, or which requests for values came in when. It doesn't eliminate the ability for somebody to call in and say, hey, can you rush this one? Because you can quickly search to find that catalog and do that evaluation and change the status, and it'll notify them then. It eliminates the multiple places of storing photos and asset data. Like we talked about before, sometimes your salesperson may be taking notes on paper, and trying to keep that paper associated with the photos can be a little bit difficult. So it smooths that process out a lot, making sure that all of the data that really should be with that photo is in one place. So we're going to pause here again. This is the end of the information. So we're just going to ask what other questions everyone has.
Training is required for the dealership staff to kind of get up to speed on using the tool.
So what has really been done is that we will go through a Zoom meeting to demo the software so that they can ask any of their questions and show how the whole process works. Then actually, when they're bringing new employees on, they just have one person there that walks them through the process, and that's the end of it. It's probably only going to take about 20 or 30 minutes to get them trained.
Okay, and then how is it priced? Is it per person, per location, something different?
Great question. It is actually per location. It's $1,800 a year per location, or roughly $150 a month per location. You can have as many users as you want to have on, so it's not going to be impacted if you're adding more users. And we can quickly add more users. One of the things that I wanted to say is that we are, through this webinar, offering a 30-day free trial. And if you want to sign up for that 30-day free trial and give the software, go to heavyworth.com/deals. Complete that form, and that will start the process. We will actually need to call you because there are some things that we're going to have to ask you how you want set up in the organization, who you want to receive the notifications, and what type of values you want, and to get the people that you want set up. So it does start the process, but we will be calling you to ask just a few more questions to make sure we get you all set up correctly.
Does it work on an Android platform?
Yes, it does.
And then is the trial limited to a certain number of people or locations?
No. We will put as many locations and as many people as you want in. You know, if you're putting everybody in, I know when we have given in the past, set people up on trial, some of the times they'll just pick a few people so that they can assess whether this is something they think will work or not before setting everybody up.
Are there any volume discounts for larger dealerships?
There can be for larger dealerships, and we can discuss that with you and see what we can do for a large equipment dealer.
Okay. With the setting the notifications to who you want them sent to, is there ways to like differentiate it that, like, if someone had 3 or 4 different people who maybe need to get it but don't need to get all of it, is there like a, if this, then it goes to John, and if something else, it goes to Bill? Does that make sense?
Yep, I think it makes sense. I think that we'll have to figure out what are the if this and if that to make sure that it goes. I know we have made it so it goes based on where the salesperson is located, what location they're assigned to. But if there are different what ifs, we just need to understand what those are so we can work with them. This is both Melissa, Ricky, and my information. You can always call the HeavyWorth number, or you can call our cell phones, whichever one works best for you guys. we answer both. So we're looking forward to you reaching out and giving us a call so we can possibly set up a demo if you want to have more people in the organization look at it before even doing the trial. And I
All right.
wanted to,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I want to thank everybody for attending, and I really appreciate all the great questions that you had.
All right, yeah, and it looks like we've gotten to the end of all the questions. So just a reminder to everyone that we did record the session in case you want to go back and review it, share it with anyone else at the dealership so that they can see a little bit about what the platform's all about. So with that, on behalf of Glenda, Melissa, the HeavyWorth team, and the farm equipment staff, thank you all for joining us for today's digital demo. Feel free to reach out to us and let us know what you thought of the live event and if there's any topics you'd like us to cover in the future. And just keep an eye on your email and the farm equipment website for when that replay of the session is available. Thank you, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.